Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Dinko Ballista Compact, and it is the first of many vehicles you're going to see in this compilation today of Will It Off-Road Fails. That's right, the video I've been talking about for like a year now is finally here. We're going to take a look at roughly 3 years worth of fails that I've had saved on my hard drive for a very long time, starting with me just completely missing a corner and managing to hit a tree. Of course, it's not just this car that failed really early on into testing. Here we have the Coil Raiden, managed to nail the sign and go off into a ditch. And we're going to see this Raiden a whole lot in this video on this same run. Yeah, just get used to it. But then we had another coil, and this one doesn't go much better because somewhere along the way we managed to find a little bump, get a little air, can't turn, and in the same ditch we go. Yeah, so you can see I don't get very far in some of these tests. Here we are in the Vigilante in the snow. My buddy Rocket is riding shotgun, and the weirdest thing happens. Same bump, and it does a wheelie, and then over it goes. I'm still not really sure what happened there. But then we're back to the Raiden, not much farther down. I lose control, and back in the ditch. Yep, back in the ditch we go. And you know, the Raiden seemed to suffer a lot of bad luck. Not only are we going to see it several times in this run, but then when it finally came time to test the Raiden for its just regular Will It Off-Road in the dry, well, I got out here to test it, and it was raining. And I try not to test for Will It Off-Road in the rain, simply because that slows the vehicles down and slide on around. Don't get as good a traction. I like to start around 7 a.m. That's why I had the phone open. I was looking at the time. I'm like, hey, it's time to go, and it's raining. So, yeah. But sometimes vehicles, I start testing them, and it's nice and sunny. I start doing my intro shot, and, you know, about halfway through the intro shot, things start going wrong with that first bit of rain, and by the time I finish spinning the car around, a slight downpour has started. So the Tesseract had to wait in-game hours to finally get started. We just rode out the rainstorm. But another type of weather, the snow, which is a regular series for me, and I do it in the wintertime, and there's one coming next month, because I still have 2 vehicles that I recorded back in January that I never uploaded the video for, because I like to hold on to one in the summer, so when it's hot, muggy and all that, we can remember, snow. But anyways, the poor prairie, it tried so hard. It gave it an effort, but the thing could never, ever get grip. It just spun its wheels and bounced off the rev limiter nonstop, and this is about as far up the mountain as the prairie ever made it. Of course, a lot of vehicles don't even make it as far as the prairie just did, because there's a little hill coming up here right in front of us, and if you have too much speed, this happens. You miss the trail and off into the woods you go. And that happens a lot. Sometimes I leave it in the videos, sometimes the crash is particularly bad, as we're about to see, and I have to go fix the car and completely start over. But this one's pretty good, because you may notice there's somebody right behind me. That's once again non-credit Rocket, and he's following very close and at speed, so nothing can go wrong there, right? Nothing at all. Poor little Elegy Retro look is just shaking in terror from the accident that just happened. That, or it's just, you know, GTA being glitchy again. Probably the latter, but you know, we can call it a scared car. So, this area, there's a log, actually 2. Big heavy vehicles like the tank, no big deal. It just bounces over it, keeps right on going. But lighter vehicles, like say a muscle car with really weird steering, should it happen to hit the log, it doesn't respond as well as the Rhino does. Yeah, it does a nice backflip. If you get something with a lot of speed and that's really lightweight, like say, I don't know, a supercar, maybe a T20, well, yeah, the disaster is real. Yeah, that was game over. Had to go fix the car and try again. Sometimes you miss the first log and you manage to hit the second one because of the snow plow stuck to the front of your truck. And it's not just the Sasquatch that suffered from that. The Pounder Custom, I had one of the visual body armor kits on it that causes it to have that big, thick bumper. Well, that big bumper meant I could never make it past this section in testing this truck. It never could get up and over there because it always would get stuck in the ground. Actually had to wind up taking this all the way back to my nightclub to remove the bumper, then flying all the way back out here, waiting for daylight the next day, and then calling it up and trying again without the bumper when it made it about as far as that hiker up there. And that's all the farther it got. I spent all that money and wasted all that time, and it never got any farther. But then we have the Imperator. That I was determined I was going to get up this mountain. And this area right here is tricky even in the dry for a lot of cars, and especially big vehicles, but some smaller cars struggle as well. So it's fallen off once and manages to hit a tree. And I get stuck here for a little bit, wound up, crashed up the car, so I had to go get it fixed. Try again, just to have the exact same problem. And we're back down in there, had to go get it fixed again. Trying again, a little bit better this time, but then the wheels started spinning. And I could not get any grip whatsoever, but I was trying my best to save it. I did not want to have to go get the car fixed again and drive all the way back out here again. I had already been, this is now my second in-game day, by the way. So it's already been well over an hour of recording time trying to get this one muscle car up. Started, it looked like it was going to do it, but again, it can't find the grip. It just cannot put the power down whatsoever. So carefully, gingerly, cautiously backing up in hopes that I can get this thing to go. Decide, you know what, we're going to Jeremy Clarkson this shit, and we're going to try to go for some speed. And, well, chickened out at the last second, didn't get speed, and managed to fall off anyway. Exact same spot. Had to go get the car repaired again for our fourth try up the mountain. You can tell it's much later in the afternoon in game. So, gonna make another run here, and pretty much the same story. I thought I'll be nice and cautious, and then we'll just find a place that can get grip. But it was going so slow, and this gets so steep, it never could find that magic spot where all that muscly car goodness, or muscle car goodness, I don't know how you'd really say that. But anyways, all the power on those rear wheels could be put down to the ground in the snow. It couldn't do it. I was determined, though, I'm not falling off the mountain. You can see I clearly hit a hiker at some point coming up. But I was determined not to fall off this mountain again. It was my sole determination. But of course, yeah, too far to the edge, and down we went once again. This time in pretty spectacular fashion. I got a good crash out of that one, and then we say sayonara to the rear bumper. So didn't even try it any farther, but it's not just in the snow, and it's not just muscle cars that struggle in that part of the map. No, not at all. Other things have issues as well. The Sasquatch included. And again, it's really a lot down to the plow. It kind of shoved me to the side, and then off we go. Yeah. But hey, you know what? At least the Sasquatch can do this. Yeah. The Imperator couldn't. So, some vehicles, they make it a little farther down the path before encountering issues. You can see the Blackfin, we're up, about halfway up the mountain at this point. Doing really well until we get to this split bit here. Managed to hit the little rock that's sticking up. And, well, that spelled the end for this run. We had to go get the car fixed and try again. And the same exact thing happens with the Vigilante. Doing a really good run. It was getting a good time. Managed to just nail that tiny little section there. And then, yeah, in much slower fashion, over the edge we go. But the good thing about the Vigilante is, you know, there's a big rocket motor attached to the back. So to go get it fixed was a much shorter trip. Because I could just, you know, do that and land on a boulder. So the Sasquatch, back to it having issues with that big plow that, by the way, I took off. I don't even have that on my truck anymore. It's gone. It gets us into trouble a lot. And at this point, basically caused what we can only call a premature damage descent. Because this thing starts tumbling, and yeah, there we go. It's done. There's no saving it from this. Gotta go get it fixed. Which, with these vehicles, you can't drive them into the shop just down the road in Paleto Bay. You have to, you know, get rid of them and then call them back up. Some vehicles can make it near the top. This is the same Raiden on the same run, and because of its crap brakes, completely missed the turn, overshot, and wound up going back down the mountain. Believe it or not, though, I did manage to get this car back up on the trail. But then we're back at the Sasquatch. It's finally made it to the top, but even that, in and of itself, is a fail. It couldn't even nail the finale. So, what are you going to do? It's just kind of pathetic. But then there's vehicles that make it up to the top with absolutely no problem. And so it's time to do their controlled descent. And the Riata is just one such vehicle. That user error kind of comes into play. Went too far to the right. That was too steep to go over. And it, again, becomes a premature damage descent down to, you know, the launch doors for a nuclear missile. Yeah, big fail. Then we have the vehicles that are, they make it to the top, or they didn't, and I'm just using a death match, as we'll see later. But we want to do a damage descent, but getting them lined up to that little ramp down there is a pain because of their size and the Chernobog. I'm not going to show you the whole time I spent here trying to get this thing down to that ramp. And if you've seen the video, you never got quite on the ramp. I kind of was half on the ramp. Half on, half off the ramp, sorry. At a really weird angle. But yeah, the tree and the signs, over 7 minutes it took me to drive that short little distance to get it down to that ramp before I was finally ready to start the damage descent. It was such a pain, and it was so frustrating. But this is definitely a fail, because at this point, it's stuck. And anything that takes 7 minutes to just get set up, I'm comfortable calling that a fail. But then we had the barracks stuck against the same sign, but now it's raining, and so it can't get the grip. Thankfully, we're in a death match, and my buddy Rocket was able to pick up one of the Hydras and watch this spectacular bit of flying that he does. Just gonna come in with the tip of the plane, give it a gentle nudge so I can back it off that sign and get it down to the ramp. Even though I nearly completely missed the turn and almost slide off the mountain, I do manage to wind up getting over there. And the barracks does go on to finish its damage descent. It was pretty awesome. But then we're back to our Raiden, the same one from the same run, on its damage descent now. I mean, the thing's already pretty banged up by now, but we're doing the damage descent. We still have saving failed. And I know it's at night and it's hard to see, but the thing's taking a pretty good beating. So you might be thinking, you know, what's a fail about this? Well, keep watching. You'll see. And it's just in fitting with how everything else with the Raiden went. We've crashed it, what now, 3-4 times already? That it's just had major problems getting up the mountain. So, of course, you can't expect it to go down the mountain without incident, right? I mean, I think that's a fair thing to say. And sure enough, it gets wedged between these two boulders and never, ever gets out. It stayed stuck there. Nothing we did could get this car out of there. So sometimes in the videos, people will have wanted levels, and they show up, and the police, for whatever reason, decide they really want to be in the scene. Like, they really, really, really want to be in the scene so much they photobomb. Yeah. Or, as you're driving up, you realize there's still police left over from when somebody had a wanted level, and in this case, they're threatening hikers. They're yelling at the hikers, they're hitting their sirens, they're honking their horns, Grander Hobo's flying in from nowhere, and the cops are just harassing the hikers to get out of their way which I'm ready for that to happen as well so that I can, you know, maybe actually get an ascent recorded here, because that would be pretty handy. Yeah, fantastic stuff, the cops. But then occasionally they will just appear. And this does happen. It's pretty rare, and it's usually several minutes after somebody had a wanted level. I was doing my full run of the Toros. You can see it had a little bit of an incident, and the back door won't close. I was doing the full run, and then all of a sudden I come up around the corner, and there's a cop just driving on the trail. And I'm like, you know what? Let's see where he's going. Let's see what this cop is up to. So I decided to follow him. And again, I don't know if he was trying to photobomb here or what, but I followed him for a little bit. He winds up going. I thought he was going to turn right, and that was going to be the end of him. But no, he seems like he might want to try to see if his cop car will off-road in the snow. But you can't remember, have I ever done the police staying here in the snow? I know I've done a couple of emergency vehicles in the snow. Finally, though, he gets off our trail. This is where I normally turn, and that problem is solved. So I can go back down, get the Toros fixed, and start again. But then there's the cops who are just like, you know what? Photobombing isn't enough for me. You already have a wanted level. We're going to do something spectacular. We are going to come in grand style. And look at that. And I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit so you can see it even closer. The cop attempted to do a cool stunt and just absolutely failed. Look at that. Lands it and then rolls it. Beautiful. But then that brings me to what is pretty much the final vehicle of the video. There is one more after this, but this is the final fail. And this was something that seemed like it was going fine. This is the Entity XXR on Xbox One with Sparing Donkey. And it goes up on this rock right here. I get off of it, gun it to go back over the rock, but then it gets stuck. And look at what happens. Like, look back by the license plate where the car is deforming. And look how the camera is glitching all around and bits of debris are flying everywhere, and how it's taking our health and damaging the car to a severe degree. This is the weirdest, strangest glitch I have ever seen in World Off-Road. In the entire 3 years of recording this video, this is it. This one takes the cake, as they say, for just the strangest thing that I've seen. And there, animation of the door opening doesn't play. He gets out to kick it, goes to kick it again and climb up on it, and ragdolls. There are just some strange, like, alternate timeline X-Files type bullshit happening right now. It is just, both of us were like, how is this happening? Especially the damage to the car. You know, it's just like, I don't know what's happening. Donkey thought he'd become an MC president and return the vehicle to storage and then call it back up until I reminded him, you can't call a car from here. Besides, we've got to re-record. But look at this. The freaking engine cover is now glitching off. We are going to get this thing off of here, and that's why I'm showing you the duration of this, because I want you to see the condition of this thing once I finally get it off the rock, which it's coming. Don't worry. You can see I'm starting to finally get my groove and wiggle around, but if you notice, my health is still going down each time it glitches. This game is rendering this as just massive, huge, you know, just astronomical forces crushing us at this point. Finally, the car just glitches off, rips off the thing, but look at the back of it. It's glitched into the ground. The wheels are destroyed. It's just destroyed. But I want to go out with a vehicle that was a fail in judgment. I was convinced that the Phantom could never make it to the top of Mount Chiliad. I've done a lot of big vehicles. I know how they respond. And going into this video, I knew there was no way the Phantom was ever going to make it. If you've watched the Phantom video, you know how very wrong I was. Granted, it took it nearly 11 minutes. But I'll be damned if this truck did not make it all the way to the top, back down Mount Chiliad as well. But then I had to drive it back up again to do a damaged descent. Yeah, it made it to the top of Mount Chiliad with quite a bit of damage. I'll edit to that to show you how much damage is on the rear wheels. Yeah, so that's the fail. Hey guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Will It Off-Road fails video. Regular Will It Off-Road will return next week, so make sure that you get your votes in by clicking on the link in the description down below. We've got some interesting vehicles in the lead right now. I know the Cerberus is up there. The City Bus is making a pretty big climb. I think the Arena War Taxi's pretty high up. So some interesting things that are coming up in the next few weeks in Will It Off-Road. And of course, sometime next month, probably towards the end of the month, we will have another Will It Off-Road in the snow. And it'll be the last one for the year until the snow comes, well, this winter at Christmas, for whatever DLC they're putting out for GTA then. And finally, come hang out with us on Discord, where we are putting the final touches on Will It Off-Road Bingo. That's right, it's happening. It's going to be here in the next full Will It Off-Road video. It'll be ready for you, and you can have an input on what the different tiles to select for Bingo will say. Just join our Discord if you haven't already. The link is in the description down below. And join the general chat and start making suggestions for Will It Off-Road Bingo. But until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.